that press conference that they just did, what a pointless press conference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, investigators asked me what I thought of that.
It was pointless.
And, like
it brought awareness about Jack and Lily. That's all it did.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they did that. I mean, it wasn't the most productive thing, but I think that maybe like going forward, maybe they should have somebody else different that speaks, and we can, because every time they speak, I mean, I have nothing against major crimes, but maybe use a different speaker, and we might be able to get, you know, a different variety of words that come out that may raise more awareness or may help.
But it was kind of like, it's like they're saying, we're looking for a specific piece of information, and that's with that the person or people that have knowledge of what happened to Jack and Lily that day.
They want that one cut and dry.
Something happened to Jack and Lily, Daniel, regardless, right? Like, I can't see a vehicle just dropping by, and Jack and Lily.
Yeah.
So
that's the biggest. That's why I don't throw out any theories or speculation anymore, because it's just.
But it's
I just don't understand. It's just like the only thing I can think of at this point is either someone was stalking the property and waiting for that one moment that they knew that I would be in bed with Meadow every morning, and like they worked out a routine. They knew when I worked, and they planned and executed the perfect kidnapping of Jack and Lily. That's the only other option that I could possibly run through at this point. They didn't wander into the woods, and I know that we all thought that at the start. That was the initial reaction or initial thing everybody thinks, right? They're close to the house. They only went in the woods. But after all, after the massive search, and they deployed technology that normally was never deployed. And they had so many searchers and helicopters, and that was the fastest arrival to a search ever for a helicopter. And in Nova Scotia, 1.5 hours, because it was over at the Garden of Eden doing another case. So they already had all the inspection of the aircraft already done, and then it just needed to be fueled, and then they could do a direct, send it there, and everything was ready. That's such a big part of it. Whereas they had a helicopter within the first hour and a half. They had drones up even before that, searching and doing the property. They have between 70,000 and 80,000 drone shots. That's a massive number.
Why is it that, so why did you believe that Cindy arrived, or what you thought was a very fast time considering where she lived?
I don't know when the time she exactly arrived. I can't put a number on it. But when in stressful situations, right, your time, the time lapses at such a different pace compared to normally sitting there. Like, say if you're just sitting in your house and living a normal day, your time lapse during a stressful situation, it's much different.
Well, do you think that maybe you just had that part wrong? Like, had that part wrong.
Yeah, it is possible. And I know there was a picture of Malea's phone, like when she may have arrived or when she was planning on leaving. And how does anybody know? That was on Facebook, right? How does anybody know that she wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi in the yard and she sent that message? Malea sent her that message. She sent that message to Malea.
Fair enough.
That's a very unique thing as well. That maybe some people don't. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that is a possibility, right? You have to look from every angle. These are the things that keep me up at night, where I just go over everything on my head. Little things like that. Like, it was on Facebook Messenger. You don't know where the message was sent from. It could have been on our Wi-Fi in the yard for all we know, right? And that's the little things like that that I always keep my mind open, and I'm always, going over these things and trying to pick out every little thing to do with the case. And a lot of people don't think I do anything, but there's it's always those little things that may help, that some people may miss out on, or some people don't see. So I always do my due diligence with trying to look at every aspect.
Is there anything that has truly struck you as odd? You say meaning you say you keep thinking of things that,
Yeah.
like
I run the whole morning from what I can recall, over and over and over, from when I open my eyes. Open my eyes those times, right? Because Lily came into the room, them 2 times. And I try to recall, like, what did I hear in the kitchen? It's so hard to recall after a year. It was much easier when it was like a month after and 2 months after.
Yeah.
But it's been a year, so I have to really try my best to recall everything.
I know.
And as I said, investigators told me not to do that because it will drive you mentally insane, because you're trying to search for something and trying to pick out something that may not even be there, right? There may not be any small detail that makes the difference, but I told them I would always try. It's hard to have the whole perspective when everyone doesn't talk, right?
Well, that's true. I mean,
because I can only tell you what I've seen through my eyes, and what I heard, and Mom can only tell you what she's seen and heard, but there's one party that's left out.
And do you think some people are saying, or some people have said and are saying, that they believe that Malaya is helping the RCMP? Do you think that she's working against you with RCMP to pin this to pin something on you?
At this point, I don't think so. Because I think investigators have done so much investigation to this point where they know that I'm telling the truth. Like I've given a part of myself to them. They know everything about me, right? Like they know everything. They went through all my digital devices. Like I tell them, like they know when I go to my visits with my daughter. They know, like, my court dates. They know what goes on in my life, and
do you still get?
They know everything.
Like, do you get to see her still? Like, I know
What's
you had.
that?
Do you still? Can you still see your child? Like, do you still
Yeah.
have visits?
Yeah, that never stopped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say that, and it's completely not true. It never stopped for a minute.
How old is she now?
She's over 2 now.
Is she over 2?
Yeah.
Fun too.
Yeah, she'll almost be 2.5.
Yeah.
In a little under a month.
Totally looks like you. Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's another thing that I don't get when Anita, I hate going back to that delusional woman, but Anita said, like, oh, like it could be Jordan's kid, it could be Daniel's brother's kid. It's like, Anita, like, pull your head out of your ass and think about that for a minute. She looks exactly like me.
I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like Anita does, like, obviously is some of the stuff to me. She comes across like she's talking out of her ass on some of the stuff for sure. But
she needs to take the 2 remaining brain cells that she has and rub them together to produce an actual thought that's productive.
Yeah, but definitely she
she looks exactly like
fitting
me.
Image. For sure on that
one. Yeah. Like I don't understand the way she thinks, and there's many people in this case that have come, that have gone, and it's like, and now I think, like, with the true crime community, we all have to expect who's going to be next to crawl out of the woodwork and try to add to this giant conversation that we all have. Ooh. And I don't know who that will be, but there's always someone lurking in the darkness, ready to come out and just add something that's not relevant, that's so far-fetched that it just throws a wrench into the gears of the investigation. There always will be the next person. I always wondered who it will be next. The one thing I've noticed, that people that come in, they're always know Malaya's side or related to them. Darren related to Malaya.
Yeah.
And then Anita coming on and spewing a whole bunch of bullshit that she, she's Cindy and Wade's friend, and she knew Malaya and all them. It's like these people that are the most delusional always come from Malaya's side.
So your family has been you, and Logan has spoke a little bit, and your mother. Is that about it from your side? Logan, you, and your mother?
Yeah, that's the only people that actually had productive conversation.
And so from Malaya's side, so we got Cheryl,
Yeah.
Lily. Well, and then I didn't really know. I don't know this person at all. Her name, that Angeline person.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I know Angeline. I don't have anything, bad to say about Angeline. And I truly don't have anything that Malaya has ever said to me that was bad about Cheryl. Like,
yeah.
And Malaya would just, be in a relationship with Malaya. She told me about, Cindy. She told me about Haley and, and Shelby, Cheryl's sisters. Like, she told me like a whole bunch of crazy things. And I know they're true because they come from Malaya's firsthand experience.
You know what? You made a comment, now that I think about it. You made a comment about Malaya that that she had told you that she didn't she didn't want her mom in her life no more, and you said something like, well, like that's your mother. And I know that you and Cindy,
because she wanted to cut off Cindy completely. And I said, no, like that's your mother. You make the choice, because she grows tired of Cindy with
kind of like what you said earlier,
the criticism that the outbursts against Malaya, like criticize. We'll just take the car for example. When Malaya got the new car, Malaya, why did you get that car? Malaya, why did you spend so much money on that car? Malaya, why did you drive all the way for like 2 hours away to get that car? Why did you get that color? It's just like Malaya didn't want to deal with any of that. It's just too much. Like, we were trying to raise a family, and it becomes a burden when you have extra criticism added to your life, which should never be there. It adds an extra layer of stress to your life when you're trying to raise children. And she didn't want that. So she said, Daniel, can we move out of here? Like, can we? And then, I was just like, maybe we can move to mom's, and I'll ask mom, and I asked her, and, mom was nice enough to do that for us.
Was your mom and you guys all living in the home, or did she
move
into the trailer?
No.
And then basically say, okay, guys, come live here.
No, I asked mom, and then she's like, yeah, Daniel, you can move over. And I was just like, but like Malaya wants to come, right? Like she was the one who wanted away from Cindy. And she's like, yeah, I guess that works.
Now, there seemed to be some animosity there between Malaya and your mom, from both of them speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Was there?
Yeah, well, I don't want to speak for mom. It was never any animosity where she hated Malaya or anything like that, but she just thought like you always have that motherly instinct.
No matter what.
Speak for you always have that motherly instinct, like Daniel, how can I put this? Daniel, why did you choose Malaya? Because it's, but she never had any quarrels with, me being with Malaya, but she's always wondered, why did you choose Malaya? And why did you choose her? But, well,
I mean, you can't.
But in the end, we have a daughter together. and we both love our daughter.
Yeah,
And that's just the way it is. Like, and I love kids, and I always knew that I wanted to have kids, right?
yeah.
And I never had kids until I was like 26 or 25 or 26, 2016. And
Right, with the other
yeah,
two, I mean, like,
yeah. But like, I love the aspect of having kids, and it provides the insight into life which you wouldn't have if you didn't have kids, right? It makes you a better person because
well, children do.
you get to see the progression of young ones and try to help them through becoming the best versions of themselves, right? Which they can't do on their own, right? So
Well,
it provides a very unique perspective to life, which I wish everyone could experience. And that's why it really bugs me when people, especially young women, that say that they never want to have kids. And, you know, especially when really intelligent women say that, because I believe that the world needs more intelligent humans. Because what I'm seeing from the true crime community, there's a lot of people that lack intelligence. And I know some people are going to be hurt over that. But
I mean, well, the thing is,
if you're one of those people, sorry, but
sometimes there's things that come out and you're just like, really? Like, did you?
well, a lot of people think emotionally before logically. And I understand that we're all human, we all think differently, and we're all unique, right? That's the best part about being a human, is everyone is individually unique.
No, I want to get to Have you ever seen any of Ninchi's true crime?
Mom watches her. Mom fills me in on everything that happens on YouTube. She's actually she's capable of watching YouTube that I can't watch because I get frustrated, and it drives me to a point of like, I want to message someone, like, and correct people, or I want to say, like,
yeah, I know.
you know, especially when some people are on there, like Darren or Anita. It's just
I get it, because it's like they're talking about like your guys' life in case. And
yeah, and it's just like, that's not the way it went. That's not the way it is. That's not who I am.
So Ninchi does say, she says, so why was CPS investigating? How did they get all the black eyes? Why did the school have to give them warm clothes? Okay, so we know that CPS.
Well, I'll answer that in 3 questions because it's 3 separate questions.
Yeah.
CPS came to the house when the behavior of Lily and Jack at school became apparent, that the teachers and staff weren't able to accommodate the needs of Lily and Jack. They wanted them to get tested for autism, and they were just about to be tested for autism before the disappearance. It was only like later in May or June. I don't remember exactly which. Somebody could probably dig that up because I probably said it before. But yeah, so they were just about to be tested for autism.
Right.
And so they had a real difficult time with, them not being tested for autism, because autism's a spectrum, right? And you fall into various degrees inside that spectrum. And to know where you are in that spectrum, that would help the teachers and staff better accommodate Lily and Jack and with their education, and try to help them learn in different ways, right? That could be congruent of where they fall on the spectrum. And so that's why CPS came out and to give me and Malaya, but more so Malaya, because Malaya is their biological parent, right?
Yeah.
And they came out to help, give her number, like phone numbers for receiving support so we could learn more on the behaviors that they have, and try to help them with their needs in a different fashion, right? Because it's always better to have more information and not need it to having less information, and then you may need it, but you don't have it. So that answers the first part. That's where they came out, was to, you know, to help us get support on the behaviors that the school staff were seeing. And when it comes to the stuff for the black eyes,
Yeah.
me and Malaya never caused any black eyes on Jack and Lily. I know that's where a lot of people think. It was always them fighting or falling. And when the kids fought, they fought very violently. And they would have, because with autism, sometimes you have, I know that there's probably some parents in here that have kids with autism, and they will have extreme emotional outbursts. They used to fight all the time. And that's why it says in the RCMP documents that that Daniel had a voice that the kids listened to. That's why I used to come home from work when Malaya got too stressed out and she couldn't handle the kids. That's why I came home from work. I had to come home from work 4 or 5 times because Malaya just couldn't control the kids, and they didn't listen to her, and they got violent. And Malaya would always, you know, do what she was used to doing, was just try to avoid the situation and do the best she could, and, you know, be there for Meadow, right? Because she didn't have any control over Jack and Lily. And looking back on that, it was extremely hard to go for, especially for me to go through, because Jack and Lily aren't my children, but I did everything as if they were my children, right? And that, you know, breaking up fights and, you know, come on, guys, just let's sit up on the couch. You got to stop fighting. Like, Lily, there's your toys. Jack, there's your toys. And it was a lot. Like, Jack and Lily were hard for Malaya to manage. For me, they always listened. That's why you can always go back and get the documentation from the RCMP documents where it says Daniel had a voice that they listened to.
Right, I remember that.
Daniel never physically disciplined the kids. And
go ahead.
No, I have that, and I have that for, you know, for the public to see. But I also have videos from Cheryl that were sent to someone, and it says in those videos, I asked Malaya if Daniel ever abused the kids, and Malaya told me no, Daniel never hit. Daniel never hit the kids. He never kicked the kids. He never pushed the kids. He never punched the kids. He never slapped them. He just treated them differently than from his own. And I had to treat Jack and Lily differently because I knew the very first day I ever met them, I knew that they were, I hate using the word that, you know, they had special needs, but I knew that Jack and Lily were different from my children in a way where I could tell that their behaviors and the way that they conducted themselves were different from my own. And I took that challenge on, knowing that Jack and Lily were different from normal kids. And I hate saying it like that because it sounds like I'm putting them down, but that's just the way it was. I
get it.
I had to manage them in a way where I felt like I had to be more strict and had to like repeat things many times to them so they would understand, right? It wasn't just a cut and dry thing where when you're on the spectrum, it's much more difficult for children to learn. It's not the children's fault in any way. It's not the adult's fault for any way or their parent. That's just the way it is. That's just the way, you know, the child or the children are. So you had to be very vigilant in the way that you taught the kids, right? And looking back, that's one of the support things that, you know, me and Malaya needed, because we didn't know how to raise kids with suspected autism, right? And it was much different from raising my 2 biological kids in Meadow. It was a much different situation, and I hope people can actually grasp what I'm saying and grasp how I'm coming across with with talking about Jack and Lily. I don't mean it in any way where it's putting them down. It's just the way life is, and you have to face the facts with life. That's just the way it was. I'll tell you something too. When my mom was there to witness this, when Cindy came into the yard, right, after Malaya called her, messaged her, whatever, when she showed up in the yard, the very first words that Malaya said to Cindy was, "I told you they were autistic, Mom." My mom was there to witness her say that.
Well,
And what I took from that is you're blaming the kids for the disappearance. But I don't know if she actually meant it in that aspect.
Right.
But
Right.
that's what I personally gained from it. But I can't speak for Malaya, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to have a little bit better context to that.
Yes,
Is
the context is everything. I also found it odd when Cindy and Wade showed up and they had Tim Hortons in their hands. You think the last thing you'd be thinking about is Tim Hortons when your grandchildren are missing. That's what we all hoped for, was we don't have to go through a year of torture wondering where two innocent children are. That was the hopes and dreams of everyone who knew about the case on May 2nd, was they went into the woods, we were going to find them, and then this whole nightmare would be over, and Lily and Jack would, still be here in front of us.
Yeah.
And I hope for one day to see Lily and Jack again. And this whole thing just goes behind us, and then, we can all live the best life we can. I try not to think about it at all, Sonny. That's why I always try to remain positive. Because as soon as you let your mind wander, it becomes very, very toxic in your own mind. And you may never escape that. The mind is all you have, Sonny. You can't control the external world. You can only control your own thoughts. That's the only thing that humans can control.
Yeah, you can control your own actions and thoughts.
And to lose the ability to think in a positive manner, that's one of the worst things that can happen to a person. It's just to give up. And that's what I said at the start. And I've continued to say that. I hope for the best positive outcome from this, that Lily and Jack are found safe. And the person that committed this crime is persecuted to the full extent of the law. I've said that many times. I've said that to investigators. Like, this has destroyed so many people's lives. This has destroyed my life. This has destroyed Malaya's, and this has destroyed all the kids. It has destroyed his Belinda as well, and everyone that's close to the children. And it broke the heart and disheartening for all the public and people that care, people that have a big heart. It destroyed so much, destroyed this province, and it's destroyed the hearts of many in this whole country. Yes, I understand that, Sonny. And what I said earlier is, like, I don't take accountability or responsibility. I take accountability and responsibility on that whole, I'm using this word again, the whole spectrum of everything. Yes, I was in the house. I take responsibility and accountability for that. But it's also, for me, I lay in bed with Meadow every morning. There was nothing about that day that was different for me. I didn't even know the kids were staying home from school. Malaya knew that. Malaya was up at 6:17 and 8:28 making a phone call to her mother. Why didn't she get up with the kids? Because she knows I lay in bed with Meadow every morning. But from that aspect, I don't take accountability. But from the overall view on the whole situation, I do take accountability and responsibility for that. I do. Because I could have got up with the kids. I could have changed my morning routine from what it was and made it different and got up with them. But I didn't do that. And I don't have an answer for you on why I didn't do that. Of course, and I don't have a time machine. I don't have a time machine to go back in time, because if I did, then I would 100% do that. That would be the one choice in life that I make. There wouldn't be any other choice before that. That would be the one definitive choice that I make in my life. That's the biggest regret I have to live with. If Jack and Lily are never found, that's the biggest regret I ever have to live with in my entire life. And that's a massive regret that will just linger my whole life, for Malaya's whole life, and my mother's whole life. There's no way around it. It will be something that haunts for the rest of the existence, right? The rest of our existence. Lily would usually get up before Jack. Jack would sometimes sleep in a lot longer than Lily would. And sometimes they would come into the room. Lily would come into the room.
And I
And
think you did clarify that the lock was on the inside of the door, like I said, but that it wasn't locked. That
it wasn't locked. You can hear it.
Right.
Like when I go up to because I'm sitting in the bedroom right now. When I go up to the door, when you hear it open,
now,
and that's what woke me up, was Lily pushing the door open, and she leaned in. She had her hand on the doorknob, and she leaned in, and that's when it woke me up. I jarred awake. That happened twice, and I said, "Lily, shh." Meadow's trying to sleep.
So I'm just
because they would Lily and Jack would wake up Meadow quite a bit. And usually when she would try to, Malaya would, put Meadow down put our daughter. I gotta stop saying her name.
Didn't she
put our daughter down for a nap. Lily and Jack would often wake up Meadow. I gotta stop saying her name.
You know what? It's not like anyone doesn't know it, but
I know.
I mean,
but
Meadow's a beautiful name.
I know. And like Lily and Jack would wake her up quite a bit, especially when she would go down in the crib for a nap, or Malaya would, I guess you would call it co-sleep with her and put her down for a nap.
So if you're going in your the bedroom, is your bed straight on, or is it off to the side? Like say, like the window is at the back of the trailer there, where your bedroom. Is your guys' bed straight on or to the side?
Yeah, but it's also a weird thing for me to answer that, because I have so many death threats. And you think I want people knowing exactly the position where I sleep.
Okay, well,
it's a weird dynamic, but I will answer it because I don't fear anything.
More about the fact of
I'll answer. I'll
the
answer
right
it.
Side or left side.
If you want to know exactly where I sleep, Sonny, I'll tell you.
It was about so the question really is if Malaya had only said about seeing the Lily in the morning, but she never said that any other time it was heard. So in my head, I have the bed pictured kind of like
it's right below the window. It's right below the window, and I sleep
on the left side or right.
It's right below, like directly below the window.
Okay. So you're saying
I sleep closest to the door.
So so can you verify then that Malaya did see Lily that morning? Because it's so weird when someone only claimed to have heard them in the next room.
Yeah, Malaya also said that we didn't know they were playing outside at the time.
Yes.
Like Malaya, how did you
know?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for Malaya. That's
right, because of your mother.
Because I want her to speak out. Like, that's why I said I want her to go on shenanigans where she feels comfortable. Like, even if she's given the most softball questions, even if she has to hit a Nerf ball, even if her questions are hit with a Nerf ball, and they're so soft, at least she's doing something productive for Jack and Lily. That's not under the umbrella of just doing it for major crimes. She's doing it personally. She's going out of her way to raise awareness. That's what we all want. We all want everyone to speak out and everyone to talk. I can't speak on what Malaya seen or heard that morning. I wish I could, because I would tell everyone. I would tell everyone what Malaya seen and heard. I wouldn't hold back, right? If I knew her perspective and how everything went across, I mean, how everything she's seen and how everything crossed her eyes and ears and how she felt that morning. I wish I could tell everyone that, but unfortunately, I'm not given that
I mean,
that
obviously, you would
ability.
have been in the bedroom. Like I remember, like okay, something about that the TV got turned on for Meadow. Whoops, sorry for baby.
Yeah, she would usually do that in the morning. So she would leave turn on the TV when she got the kids up for school, or the TV would remain on at night with the sounds of like rainstorms or lightning and stuff, right? Like it's calming sounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
sleep
yeah,
music.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she'd usually put that on, or she would put it on in the morning. And so me and our daughter could sleep in bed, and nothing would wake her up.
Now, did she have a little bassinet or in the bedroom as well, like me, or did she just sleep with you guys?
She had a crib, but she also
Crib.
slept in the bed with us, co-slept as well. And when I went to bed, she was sleeping in the crib. I don't know the exact time that she was moved into the bed. The only time I can guess is when she marked the kids absent from school.
So you woke up like were you awake a bit?
No, I wasn't. I didn't know she marked the kids absent from school until I looked at my phone and seen definitive proof where I seen an email that said 6:17 and 6:18 a.m.
Right.
And I told investigators that, and told commander of operations of search and rescue, and and I told them, like, I wouldn't have kept the kids home from school. They were home yesterday, but Lily showed no signs of having a cough or anything from what I've seen when she came in twice.
I mean, so is this where kind of all the speculation that Malaya had to have done something came from?
Well,
if he's calling the kids
just
in,
as time went on, right? There was her clothes not being here.
he said her mom and her were talking a lot more.
Yeah, there was like the lead up where the 5 or 6 calls a day. I found that a little odd. There's just all these little oddities that paint a picture, like I said earlier, that it paints a picture of the whole scenario from my perspective. And then to see her actually abandon her children on May 3rd, that was, devastating for me. And I didn't understand why. Like, why would she just leave and then never come back? No one in her family came back.
Jeannie says she wasn't kicked off the property, but
No, it was just Haley and them, right? Because like Haley was at the end of the driveway. Like I wasn't there for the interaction, so I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I guess Haley was screaming, Daniel did it. Daniel knows where the kids are. Daniel has something to do with it. And then like you found the only evidence, Haley. And did they use that that dispute at the end of the driveway to trigger the way out, right? Like, did they use that as an act to, leave and never come back? They can just openly say, oh yeah, mom kicked them off the property and we weren't allowed to, be on the property. We weren't allowed in the area. Well, they could have just, left that day and then came back the next morning and parked their car somewhere else and helped search.
And that's what.
And it's all these. That's what I mean. All these little things add up into this giant picture for me. And it's just, I know it's all circumstantial stuff, but from my perspective, it all adds up. But that's only my perspective, right? I can't speak for anyone else. And I wish someone else would come out and speak, but at this point, I think that would be an extreme luxury. And I want to say the stuff with Haley too. I wasn't doing any drugs in the bathroom. If I was doing drugs in the bathroom, first thing Haley would have said is, I smell smoke. I see smoke. Like, That would have been the first instinctual thing you see when someone's doing drugs in the bathroom. And why would I do drugs in the bathroom when there's 100 people on the property and there's RCMP? I would have been taken out in handcuffs. They would have, if I did have drugs, they would have seized drugs. They would have seized drug paraphernalia, and I would have went in handcuffs, and would have all been all over the news.
We see that's the part where I probably have a different opinion on that, because they're there for two missing children. You know,
but it would all play into an aspect. It would be evidence on which they could have used it for an investigative tool, right? Against me. Yeah, people said there was like water in the bathtub. Like,
yeah,
that's completely false. I don't understand that in this case, people just make up whatever they want and people run with it. It's an atrocity on such a high level that people actually do that, and it spreads like wildfire.
So just to clarify, so I was told that you had a man kit in the bathroom from this. So the original source of this would have been Malaya. That you had a man kit in the bathroom that had your drugs, that's where you kept your drugs, and that, you know, and obviously Haley has made the comment that Malaya said that you've been doing drugs ever since, or that she found out you were doing drugs since Meadow, and stuff like that. And that,
I don't know if that was the exact time, but I allowed Malaya to catch me doing them because I didn't want to hide it. I hid it for so long with Malaya that it was a part of me that, because I don't like lying. I don't like lying, especially to the person I was in a relationship with, right? That's one of the highest forms of disrespect, and it's very disloyal. And I just couldn't bear the weight of anymore of Malaya, of me hiding anything from Malaya. That's the only thing I've ever hid from Malaya. And it ate me up on the inside because I don't like lying. So I eventually let Malaya catch me doing it. And like, I never spoke out and never ever said that. I think that's my first time ever saying that.
Haley obviously made the comment that you were running. Oh, that's why you were running around. And Wade also, I think, made a comment about you in his video there, about, you know, you looking very like your shade of skin color and stuff like that.
It's also a traumatic situation where your stress levels are at their peak that they could possibly ever be in life. And it's not fair for someone to judge another person in a time when I was, me and my family were doing everything we could to find Lily and Jack, and to see Wade and Cindy and Malaya and them just sitting around like it's a fun family reunion. And
yeah,
it was difficult. Like, the food was like all brought to the house by everybody that came, right? Because like in a situation like that, it was like, yes, yes, Sonny. People even brought KFC, and and I think I might have got a piece of chicken out of that. And you know, even my employer donated $1,000 toward the search effort for food, because they knew that in a situation like that, you have to keep your strength up. You have to eat and drink as much as possible, because it's such a situation where if you don't eat or drink, it does something to you, right? And because your body is just trying to run on pure adrenaline. And it didn't feel like that for Malaya and her family. Like I didn't get that perspective from them. Yeah, I didn't get any actions or any visual cues that this was a search for two missing children. I never got that. And I openly talk about that. It felt like it wasn't like Jack and Lily were missing. And like I was running around, I was running through the woods. Like I didn't stop. I didn't stop screaming for Lily and Jack. I said this before, like my throat hurt so bad. And I like many times during the search, I had to sit in the woods and just try to, you know, gang my composure because my heart was beating out of my chest and I couldn't breathe just because I had this sense of urgency that we have to find the kids. And
Did
I it's mind-boggling to think back on and
well,
and see like all the memories that flood back of that whole situation. And that wasn't a bash on Malaya's family. That
no,
was
I
that
get,
was my perspective on what I seen. Like that's what I visually seen and what I heard. And that's how I felt.
do you remember in the message to Charmaine that, and I think at first I thought you were calling Malaya a psychopath. Was it Cindy that you were referring to, I believe? Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you said that like as if she had no emotions.
Yeah, it was emotionless. And she displays every trait of a psychopath. And the last trait I looked for was no empathy. And in a situation like that, that's when empathy would be at its highest point, right? Because you know something's wrong and you should have empathy of like the whole situation. There's your grandchildren are missing. And that aspect or that trait should have been on full blown display, right? Other than the other, traits of Machiavellianism and the other traits of that are displayed with psychopathy. And I never seen any empathy, and that was one of the biggest things that like, and this is all my perspective too, right? This is just what I've witnessed, and I can only speak for myself, but that's how it came across through my eyes. That's how this perspective was granted through what I seen and felt and
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
heard.
Daniel, I know that you and Haley, you know, uh, don't really have this, warm huggy, fuzzy, warm, you know,
Yeah,
relationship
it's
going
quite the
on.
opposite. And I wish Haley would have kept speaking out because she was considered a voice for Lily and Jack, and it just faded off into complete darkness. And we never heard anything on Haley ever again. I don't know if she just couldn't take the judgment or being attacked, or she turned on Cheryl, because I know that she said a lot of things against Cheryl and Malaya and Cindy as well. She even said stuff on Patty, I do believe.
I'm sure a lot of people, if they were to speak out the truth, they would be very muchly take the wrath of their family that would be pissy at them, and you know what I mean. Like nobody,
Mm-hmm.
you
They would
know,
they would cause a quarrel
it would
between them
cause
that would
right.
rip them apart.
Because we're not hearing from Malay at all, but yet from the family, it's like what she's drinking and and shit, with her brother and stuff like that. She's doing herself up to the nines.
She's
But
breaking CPS policy.
remember the picture that I thought was like a phone, and you said it was some sort of lighter or something.
Yeah, that was
And then
the
there was
inside internals of an electric plasma lighter.
right, but then there was the keys that were up in the
Yeah,
corner.
those could have been my Dodge Journey keys because they came from a Dodge vehicle.
Well, because I was gonna say, I said I was like, I think Haley would know if those were her keys because she's gone.
Yeah, those could have been my
Like
because they were
when
from a Dodge,
okay,
and I used to have a Dodge Journey.
but why?
So
Go ahead.
looking back, those could have possibly been my keys.
Okay, so right, so
But
regardless,
at the time, I should have clarified all of that. Those could have been my keys because they were from a Dodge.
and then, you know what?
And and Haley's boyfriend drove a Dodge.
Okay,
So looking back, those like and maybe I thought at the time this is a good thing to talk about because we can clear up that inconsistency there. those could have been my Dodge Journey keys, but I don't have those keys anymore. I should have went back and looked at that and see if those are actually my keys, because they came from a Dodge vehicle. And I do believe that Haley's boyfriend's truck was a Dodge Ram. So
Yeah, but was he in your bathroom?
yeah, he was inside the house. Yeah.
Haley, obviously a mother herself, and all she's ever said is, Sonny, I just would like to know what happened to Jack and Lily. Like, you know, and being frustrated with her sister, right? The actions of her sister, meaning if you have children that are missing type of thing, why are you acting a certain way? Like, why aren't you acting like two children disappeared in a sense?
It
So
almost gives the vibe that there's a lack of caring there.
so what is it that why do you keep kind of going on the attack on Haley to say that she's like, well, she found it. Like,
Because
where did that come from?
Haley accused me of doing drugs in the bathroom, which clearly wasn't the case. There was, because I would have been taken out in handcuffs, because, you know, meth is a substance that's, you know, it's not taken lightly. It's not taken lightly like marijuana is, or, you know, like a substance that's, you know, like a prescription drugs. It holds a different classification under the Controlled Substance Act. It's like, if I did have drugs and there was drug paraphernalia, I would have been taken out immediately. I would have been taken on handcuffs, because methamphetamines falls under a different distinction than, you know, and it falls under a different distinction in the Controlled Substance Act. It's not the same thing. Possession of that is a far extreme matter compared to your normal drugs like marijuana or illegal tobacco or anything of that nature. And the police would have used that as an investigative tool, if, especially at the start, where like I was under such high scrutiny from major crimes, right? Because there was a full-on investigation. They could have used that as an investigative tool, right? If there was drugs or drug paraphernalia, that would have been, you know, that would have been a very great investigative tool, because there was a lack of evidence, and there still is a lack of evidence. That would have been one of their best tools they could have had at the time if there was drugs, right? That would have been, they would have jumped right on that.
So basically, for
we have to think of from the aspect of law enforcement. That would have been the best investigative tool they would have had at the time, right? They're not interested in your feelings or how you feel. They're interested in finding two missing children, and they would have took that very seriously. There's an illegal controlled substance that was on the property, and there's drug paraphernalia. We can use as an investigative tool because we don't have any evidence. We can always hold this in our back pocket and use it against them.
Well, you did say that one guy brought it up, that Luke guy or whatever, right? It was Luke that brought that up. When they said to you, like, Daniel, by chance?
Yeah, he brought up this stuff about, he's like, do you do drugs? And I was like, yeah, I've used methamphetamines before. And he dived into, like, some people, when they're on that stuff, they go, you know, they have, you know, get extremely aggressive and like all this other stuff. And I was like, no, that's not me. Like, when I did that stuff, I felt relaxed. It was like most people, they get that feeling from using, you know, cannabis or marijuana, whatever you want to refer to it as. They get this feeling of relaxation. That's what I got from doing stimulants. It brought my dopamine levels up to a place where I felt relaxed. Like, I felt like normally, like I should. Because my brain makes such low dopamine. That's the thing I've discovered by being diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD brains make up to 70% less dopamine, and the receptors of dopamine don't react to stimulation the same. So, like, when you let's say when you see like a puppy or a dog, right? That's a cute thing, and it raises your dopamine because you think it's cute and it's fun. Like my brain works on a different level. It's always looking for stimulation, and that's where I found stimulation to feel normal was from stimulants. And that's what they give you for ADHD is they give you pharmaceutical methamphetamines. I don't know how many people know that, but that's what they give you.
You know, the closest thing for what was that? Is my niece when I had her on. She struggled with drugs since she was 15. Math, different. I couldn't even probably begin to know, right? Because I never done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last time I ever.
She may have even suffered from being neurodivergent. You don't know that because most addicts that get addicted to stimulants, they're looking for to feel normal. And, you know, maybe she was seeking that to maybe not escape reality, but to feel like she should. She wants to feel better. She wants to get, maybe she was depressed or she felt she was stressed. And it might have been a way to make her feel
it was
like
her way of coping, you know, like life and different things. And
validation has become
validation.
It's become like a very toxic thing as, you know, as social media becomes, you know, larger and larger and larger. It's a very sad, but, you know, a reality that we have to live with, you know, young women that are, you know, growing up, becoming teenagers and then make their way into adulthood. It's very hard on them, and social media puts a lot of strain on young women. And
that too, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it does. It's because they have this self-image that they struggle with, and you know, when they see all their friends on there, or they see, you know, we'll just say they see Instagram models, or, you know, this is the way women should look, and it's like a lot of young women struggle with that, and she may have had an aspect of struggling with that as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she did get picked on. If you thought the children were going to school, why not wake up Malaya?
I was unaware. She says, if you thought the children were going to school. Okay. I lay in bed with Meadow every morning. I'm unaware of the time, right? All I know is that the light was coming through the curtains, right? I wasn't aware of what time it actually was because I don't look at my phone. It was a normal day for me. And I always lay in bed with our daughter, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary with that day. Lily came in. I said, shh. Like, I didn't know when Malaya was going to get up. She usually got up with the kids, but that morning she didn't. And I always said earlier in this conversation, like, I should have got up. I should have maybe woke our daughter up, and I should have got up. And I understand that. And I can't ever change that. That's something I have to live. That's something I have to live with.
I was going to say, I mean, I guess that's probably, a little bit of a hard one to answer. Like, Malaya put you asleep the entire time, like in her own words, in her dog.
Yeah, I know. And that's, she like, and she's not covering for me. In that instance, she's telling the truth.
But you did see Lily come in a couple times.
Lily did come in 2 times. Yeah. And I said, shh, like, but I don't remember because I was the way that I'm laying in the bed, right? I'm closest to the door, and Meadow's in between us. So, like, I didn't roll back over. I was literally at that point. I think I'm trying to remember back if Meadow was laying on my arm or not. I don't remember.
I know that you said that.
It's the little things like that are hard to recall having a conversation after a year, right? Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that bugs me. People think that I'm lying about everything, and that would mean that there's the actual story that happened, and then I have to formulate a year worth of lies on top of that, and then remember everything. You know how hard that would be on the brain? That would drive someone insane.
Well, I know,
and that's why usually people that when they commit a crime, eventually they give in because the mind just self-destructs. Like, it can't take it anymore. And that's, you know, psychopaths can get away with that because they don't have empathy. They don't have any of this guilt. They don't feel guilt. That's a big thing about psychopaths. They don't feel any guilt, so they don't think they ever did anything wrong. And that's why they can get away with such horrendous crimes. But when people are good people, they can't, it's too much, right? Living in your own guilt every single day. If you did something wrong, that destroys your mind over time. And as I said, like, I've grown over the last year. And yes, I made mistakes along the way through my life. But, you know, I don't want to sound narcissistic when I say this, but I've changed a lot and I've had to work on myself. I already said that many times.
I mean,
but I'm not lying about anything.
Well, see, that was the thing that I struggled with a lot, is because you kept saying, you know, to Charmaine at the very start, you kept saying, you know, I'm like, I always tell the truth, you know, I don't lie. But then all these inconsistencies kept happening, and like literally screenshot to screenshot.
But when you talk so much, it's bound to happen, right?
But you know the saying that if you're telling the truth, right, then.
But how many people in missing persons case talk as much as I do? We're in 8 hours.
Unheard of. I'll give you that, Daniel.
It's at 8 hours, and I'm consistently speaking outward. I have done all those interviews. Like, I don't know how many people in a missing persons case have 50 on camera interviews. And like, it's just, if I would have done something that was to the kids, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. And I don't know how many people.
Well, I would hope not. Right?
No, like that's the God honest truth. But I know deep down I didn't do anything, and I'm being completely honest. Despite what the internet says, despite what people always hate me, and I understand that, and they have the right to hate me. But I didn't do anything to Jack and Lily.
Right, and
neither did my mother. I can only speak for my mother. But and then people get stuck on, they think her dog Tucker did something to the kids, and people were stuck on that for like 10 months.
Okay, so I was never with that. Like, I know that.
I think that was an absolute foolish thing to think. You don't think major crimes would have came or the RCMP would have been like, they never said anything about the dog ever. All they said is, when we search the property, you can't have the dog in the RV, right? And Mom said, gladly, I'll take, just wait a second. I'm going to take the dog out. Like, I don't want you harming the dog. Like, I'm going to, you know how many, police things you see, or law enforcement things you see, where they get attacked by dogs and then they're forced to, euthanize the animal. My mom never would ever. I don't think any pet owner would want that. Well, but that's an unfortunate aspect when a dog is in an enclosed area. You want to take the dog out so they can freely search, right? Because the dog was under so much stress, hundreds of people, helicopters going over, drones, people yelling and screaming. The dog doesn't know what's going on. And it's a hard thing for people to fathom that aren't pet owners. But Mom just wanted to take her dog out, and then they could search as many times as they want. And they did search it. I don't know how many times, like 3 or 4 times. They searched every property around here. They searched all my family's properties. And they did everything as thoroughly as possible.
Belinda said when she was there that I think your mom was like crying, like uncontrollably type of thing. Was that it? I think Justin was on Monday, but that your mom, and she said like the lady police officer or something said, like that like, it's okay, Mom, they just want to check your trailer. So I think that because that was information that was kind of comes out. Again,
it's a very emotional and stressful situation, and nobody knows how to handle every situation properly, right? But Mom has only had that dog. I mean, Mom had that dog for 5 or 5.5 years now, and she never swapped out her dog like other people say. It wasn't 2 dogs. I just wish people wouldn't fall into those traps.
She said she never saw the dog, but it was like a woof, like a deeper dog
Yeah, it's
sound.
Tucker's like 30 or 40 pounds, and he has like quite a big bark for his size of dog. You wouldn't expect it, but that's Mom's dog. There was no swapping of dogs. That's been Mom's dog for like 5 or 5.5 years. She never ever swapped out the dog, and that was the only dog that's been on the property
I
for
was
that
gonna say,
amount
is
of
that the
time.
only dog that's been on the property?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
As for a dog doing anything to the children, that's just to me like for actually a dog to attack Jack and Lily and like rip them to shreds and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That
You
would
know,
have provided evidence,
obviously there would have
a
been
lot of evidence all over the place, right?
yes. So
That would
that
have
was
been the first thing that would have been like, why is there blood on the ground? This doesn't seem like a right thing. We better investigate this. Like it leaves the mind to fall into traps. And in this case, a lot of people have fallen for traps or misconceptions on situations or actions that were done during the search and during the case.
the question about Lindsay, remember the reporter,
Yeah.
about you that you said that she was gonna blame this all on me.
Yeah.
Did you ever say, like, I just don't recall, but did you ever say what you meant by that? Like, why would like did you actually believe that you said those words?
I believe that in person, I believe that, they may not be saying that to major crimes because I don't get that perspective from them. But I still think to this day that Malaya, Cheryl, and Cindy and them, they're telling shenanigans that I'm involved, and that's why,
Okay.
that's why shenanigans talks the way she does, and that's the way, she
Yeah.
blames me for it. That would be the only, because if Malaya and Cheryl and all them said that we don't think Daniel has anything to do with it, she wouldn't be riding that train of Daniel's guilty, right? That makes sense.
So again, for me personally, I have not watched any of Shenanigans lives at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what she has been saying. I heard about some sort of sleepover, whatever the up with
I
that.
think that's where the nickname someone came up with. I'm not going to say who. What is it? The Scissor Sisters or something?
Oh, Scissor Sisters. Oh, I mean that's the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, that's what a YouTuber calls them, is the Scissor Sisters.
Yeah, I just so that side of it, I don't know honestly anything about. I don't know.
No, I got a laugh out of that because
but just in general about what she's saying or how much she's been talking to Malaya and stuff like that.
Well, she says that she talks to them and she went out searching with them, and it's
right.
Yeah.
But so at the end of the day, though, is that from what you're gathering by even
that's what I gather from
is that
shenanigans. We're
is that
talking about her, and she's gonna hear this tomorrow, and I just hope that neither of us get attacked for just giving our perspective and opinion on the situation. That's why I said the joke about the Scissor Sisters, right? Yeah. I know it's probably not a cool joke to make, but that's what people started calling her.
I'm just disgusted by what I've seen with Malaya and her lack of actions. And she can say "fuck you, Sonny" all you want, and I say "fuck you" right back. Type of like.
No, that's exactly right. But I think we all wish that Malaya would, do the right thing. And what people think is the right thing may vary from person to person, but the start would be speaking out and, raising that awareness. And I don't understand the people around her. I mean, they're dedicated and loyal to Malaya. I understand that. I admire that. But convince her to do the right thing and speak out, because that's what she has to do, is the right thing. It's all right. We can shut it down. I think maybe the true crime community and everyone that has a heart and is thinking of Jack and Lily, I think I hopefully they can take something from this, and no one's going to sleep a little easier tonight, but at least maybe I answered some questions, or maybe somebody might see an alternate perspective or different angle that may help with the investigation. And that's what I'm here for, is for Jack and Lily, and trying to help the investigators as much as I can.
I think that the big thing here is, Daniel, if you say that you or Malaya had no involvement in the disappearance of Jack and Lily, and there's only a few things that could have happened to Jack and Lily, it's kind of like, okay, so then what happened to Jack and Lily? That people were talking about selling of the children and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
that was one of my polygraph questions. Did you sell the children?
Now, you stated that those questions were all about, did you kill Jack and Lily or something like that? They were all directed towards murder.
They were all about the murder and accessory to committing the crime. Yeah. Or accessory to committing murder. And then for the second round of polygraphs that I did, it was, did you lead the kids off the property? Did you take the kids off the property? Did you sell the kids? Or did you have help moving the kids off the property?
And did they tell you, so you obviously had to go down. And how long was that polygraph test for you?
They usually set aside 3 hours, because they run through everything with you, and they go slow to make sure you understand. They do your test questions to make sure that you're able to take the polygraph. And as always, they usually say to me, because you do have different administrators of the polygraph, I'd want a different one each time. And they told me when I did the question, right, at the start, they left the number 3 out. So it said 1, 2, and there was a blank, and then 4 and 5. And then they get you to lie on the number 3. Is number 3 there? Yes or no? And you say, yes, number 3 is there. And it's not. So they can tell if you're lying or not. And the administrator said to me, he said, Daniel, you have perfect autonomy and anatomy for doing this. It's just like, you couldn't lie on this polygraph, even if you wanted to. Even if you tried hard as you couldn't lie.
So did they tell you right then and there, did they physically or actually say that you passed?
Yeah, afterwards, he put his hand on my shoulder because after the administration of the polygraph, they usually leave the room, right? And they can analyze the data, and then they come back, because everything's done electronically, right? And you have to remember too, they're looking for every aspect, watching you on the camera to see if your behaviors change, or your body language. They're doing everything, right?
Right.
And because these guys are professionals, they know when something's not right, or when they lie. I mean, when someone lies, or something seems off from your normal characteristics that you displayed during the previous one, or because investigators are always watching in the background on the cameras. And after that, he left the room. He comes back, and they said, we had a conversation, and he said to me, Daniel, what do you think happened?
Me?
And no. That's what the administrator asked me.
Oh, okay.
He said, Daniel, what do you think happened? He's like, and then I ran into all the possibilities I thought of, and that was a conversation there. And then he's like, you're free to go. And then he's like, are you going to talk to investigators? I said, yeah, I'll have a chat with investigators before I go. And I went up to investigators afterwards, and he put his hand on my shoulder. The administrator said, yeah, he said, yeah, he was truthful. And I said to investigators, I think everybody knows the investigator I'm talking about by now, but and I said, where do we go from here? And he said to me, Daniel, I don't know at this point. And I take those words as I don't know, right? He can't tell me everything. No. So it's like, I have to try to read body language the best I can. And, after getting so much time in with investigators, I try to read them as best I can to gain, knowledge, or because
I know.
they're analyzing me and I'm analyzing them
Right.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's a very good trait that I had to pick up over the last year, is trying to identify when people are lying to me, because because people are constantly trying to manipulate me, right?
Yeah.
And not, the public is always trying that. Through every message I get, it's like people are trying to think they can manipulate me into something, or extract information from me. It's like I have no information to give. I give everything openly and willingly, just like we did in this almost 8.5 hour, live. I try to give as much to the public as possible. It doesn't matter if we're on a live or it's in a private message. And I always try to get everything out there.
See if your mom was the last one to say that, like, so if she absolutely heard Jack and Lily that morning, right? That would have been a question on the polygraph test for her. And
No, the polygraph she did was the same as my first one. We had the same one about the murder. Yeah, it's different from perspective. I mean, the perspective of investigators, because they have all three perspectives, right? They have me, mom, and Malaya. So it gives they have a much clearer view of the whole morning than what I have, mom has, or Malaya as an individual has.
It's just like that would have been huge if we knew for fact that Jack and Lily were heard that morning, right?
But they would never ask that question, because we don't get to choose the questions they ask. They're all
right.
Tailored, and they're all sentenced in a way where they can't be confused, or and all the questions mesh together, right? Because they'll ask you the same question, but in a different way, right?
Yeah.
And even with me, they asked, did you move Jack and Lily off the property? Yeah. And then they asked, did you move Jack and Lily off the property? Did you move Jack and Lily off the property? And they would do it the same question like 3 or 4 times in a row, right? So they can see if there's any change in, your muscle twitches, or your heart rate, or the blood flow through your fingers, or your oxygen levels. They check all that. It's all electronically done. But the most stressful thing about that, Sonny, is, I don't know if you know this, but when you go in to do a polygraph, it's all voluntary. They close the door and they say you're free to leave at any time.
Yeah.
And you're free to leave at any time. And then they give you a consent form. They gave me for the first one, it was, you sign the consent form, and if you fail the polygraph, that gives them probable cause to charge you with homicide, right? And for my second polygraph is, if I would have failed that, it said, they would give probable cause to charge with homicide plus abduction. Right. And then I sign at the bottom to give my consent, and then they say, yeah, now the polygraph can begin. So it puts a lot of stress, and it's quite a unique feeling that, the average person will never feel in their life, to go through that type of stress level, because it releases so much, chemicals from the brain that you're not used to having, right? It's like a fight or flight chemical release, but you're sitting there in a chair, still, and your body's in flight or fight completely, and it's your body's trying to manage the amount of stress, even though you're innocent. It's just like the situation brings out a crazy amount of chemicals from your brain that you're not used to having, because it's a very intense situation. The intensity is turned up 1,000%. Yeah, they told me most people that are guilty, they don't never show up for the polygraph
Right.
because it's voluntary. And
So
why would they want to do something that's voluntary that they don't have to do, right?
so if you guys are all say passing polygraphs, right, and they don't believe that this is some sort of random stranger abduction of the children, then where does that leave us? Like, because the truth,
That's the biggest, you know, deciding factor in all this. It's just like I don't know, like where after a year where everything's going. Like I know exactly your perspective on that, and I have the same perspective. I don't know what the next move is for the investigation. Only investigators know that. But as you said, like that's why I stopped throwing out all the theories and speculation and everything, because I'm under the impression everybody passed, and it doesn't
right?
do any justice for Lily and Jack to accuse and make up theories if what I'm getting from the situation is everyone passed the polygraphs.
Kind
I
of like,
think the very first question should have been, do you have any involvement in Jack and Lily's disappearance?
right, but it was, did you murder?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the second question should have been, do you know where Jack and Lily are?
Right. Well, right. Things that are leading to, is he telling the truth or not? Anyway, so it really just boils down to is that the head explodes because you got all this information, but yet you still can't make sense of it.
Yeah, and that's why investigators urge me not to just lay in bed every night and go over everything in my head, because it'll drive you like mentally insane. Like there's no other way to put it. You're trying to look for something that maybe not there, and it just drives you crazy because like I can tell like your mind's going wild too. Like every time that I talk, it's like what's a different perspective we can take, or what's a different angle that we can look at. And it's like everybody passed their polygraph that I'm aware of. So what does that lead now? And it leads us down a road where we never thought we'd have to go down, because we thought, it could have been Malaya, or some people thought it might have been me. And it's like, that's not the case. I'm not covering for Malaya. I'm just going on what information we have now. If everybody passed their polygraphs, we're right back at square one.
Well, so Anita's saying some stuff, the pimping stuff, or talking about all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know
kind of
why she diverts down these roads where it's just like, all right, sure, Malaya and Cindy, and you have a personal connection with them, right? And Wade as well. But then you just dive into these weird, you're talking normal, and then it's just like you dive into these weird scenarios or weird and delusional ways of thinking, where it's like, oh, the audience might be getting bored, so I'm just going to spice it up by throwing this in there. And that's the thing. It's validation seeking, and she just wants to be heard. She wants to be part of something bigger than herself. But this is not the way to do it. This is not the time or the place.
Probably the most enjoyment I get out of even having to lower myself because I want to see what Anita had to say is just watching somebody put their tail between their legs as they're getting like, naughty boy, oh, I'm so sorry for interrupting you again. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a weird dynamic that I see between them two.
Well, they can have,
and it's like I hear him saying like, oh, I don't know what I would do with Anita. I had to do a live without Anita. Hopefully she comes back on. It's like, what is going on there? Like,
hey, if that's what floats Anita's boat, and that's a personality.
I think that's floating his boat too.
Yes.
Well, that one time I said, like, I felt lost without you, Anita. I was like, man, like what is going on with you two?
I think it's probably just the whole arrogance is that pretty much everyone else is idiots. Like I'll just say, I want to say this though, because I can, sorry, but I can tell a fucking bullshitter when I see one. He doesn't give two fucking shits about people whatsoever at all. You know, he
Mhm.
wants to act like he's the top notch of dissecting people and the intentions. And, the timeline, yeah, is the main thing, right? And I know he starts preaching about that. But you know, for someone to sit there and keep basically leeching have that has leached everyone's content until he got some of his own and then bash everybody like he's the smartest one that knows anything and doesn't want to lower his standards to listen
Mhm.
to what trashy shit Charmaine says or Sonny says. And then he's the stuff that he's been saying about Belinda. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, meaning if you're gonna sit there and talk, just talk about the case, but he
Yeah.
always has to have these words in. But anyways, when she took over like the first talk conversation, when
Yeah.
like she wouldn't stop talking, and I mean he couldn't get a word in edgewise
Yeah.
type
And
of
telling
thing,
her to
right?
shut up. Like I
You
found
know,
that like what's going on here? Like
I was laughing my
even
ass off.
my mom listens to it and she finds it pretty amusing. She calls
Yeah.
he's pussy whipped by Anita.
Well, right, pussy whip, but did you like me? Your mom probably heard him though when she was like, so I mean, I never really listened to anything like I think a little bit of when Janie was speaking on his channel. Again, somebody that like to me he's just a user totally about there's no I don't see this deep care level about people or really wanting.
Oh, he's using this tragedy to harvest as much views and money as possible. He's basically farming it for money, and
Well,
then he knows he can take advantage of this, and he's going to farm it as much as possible until you know
he's the best.
until the money runs out, and then he's going to find the next best thing to harvest from.
Yeah,
He's an extractor. That's what he is.
well, the thing that made me laugh is that so he was like he made a comment about something about, oh, I like, yeah, I kind of feel bad about, what I did with to Janie or whatever like that. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but it's almost like getting someone to talk and then all he did was go off and basically, I don't know what he did, call her a liar and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
anyways, and then your mom ended up not speaking, I think, to him no more. Is what I believe. I don't know. I just kind of got the gist of it,
Mhm.
but it was kind of like, dude, you can sit there probably hoping that Janie's listening to you. And I hope she never talks to your fucking ass again, to be honest with you. Because that was just almost like taking something and then just railroading somebody with the
Yeah.
information to use it for selfish purposes. What he deems as doing it for the sake of Jack and Lily. He actually the dickhead, sorry, but he actually has the nerve. Like, when people like myself, right, are saying, like, please hit the like and share, whatever, for Jack and Lily, I actually truly mean that, right? But of course, he's always like, oh, and these people that are saying, hit the like and share, like, they don't really basically give a shit. They're just fake people. No deal. Dude, I'm as real as you can get when it comes to honesty and my heart. And it's fuckers like that guy who's so full of shit, so full of himself. And if that's Anita's type that she likes to be, that maybe she likes the domination of Mike, but all I know is it's like made me freaking laugh a lot.
I think there's an aspect to that because she puts him in his place. And
Right.
when I see
And
them
he's like,
bicker
oh,
back and forth, telling each other to shut up
I know.
or listen to me, I'm trying to tell you something. It's
I
um,
know.
like, what's going on there? And,
Well, that's why I was
you
like,
know,
two peas in a pod, perhaps, on this stuff that,
yeah.
he likes to be, like I said, like, oh, yeah, spank me harder, spank me harder. And she's like, don't get me. I'll do it. I'll do it to you. Anyways, it's just weird. It's
That
weird.
sounds like Susan because Susan sent me a message before. I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'll say it anyway. Hidden in the fog, Susan sent me a message before asking me, "What's your kinkiness level, Daniel?" And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would you even ask me that?
Oh,
Like, why would you, like, this was out of the blue. This was just a random message.
yeah.
And I was like, like what, like, and I still have the screenshot from that, so I can actually prove it, right? I'm not going to post it. Probably shouldn't even said that, but I found it very odd for someone to just say that out of the blue to me. But you know,
Well,
what do I know? I get weird messages all the time. Do I answer them? No, but
yeah, that, I mean,
I got weird messages from that Larry guy too, and it's just like, you can talk to me. We'll sign NDAs and like,
non-disclosure agreement.
yeah, it's just like I'm not interested in that. I speak openly already. Like, I'm not hiding anything. Like, there's no reason for any of that. And
Well,
he made some comments toward people that I didn't like. So,
yeah, I don't even.
like, as soon as you say things I don't like, it's just like there's a level of trust that's gone there.
If I had tried to talk to you originally near the start type of idea, just for you to basically come up on a live, just use your own words, not this popping in and out of chats, trying to, because it
Yeah,
was totally getting ridiculous and out of hand, and it just causes more speculation, more drama, and it did for sure, absolutely.
but
Just
I
like,
didn't know. I have to defend myself. I didn't know about the true crime community. I didn't know how to conduct myself in a situation such as this because I have no
correct,
role models to learn from. No one's been in the position I am where I have the missing persons case, I have CPS, and then I have the other stuff on top of that. And it's such a unique situation. I have to try to do my best to work through it, right? And stay strong because no one could stay strong for me. And no one's staying strong for Lily and Jack other than, what you guys do and the public does and Belinda, right? I don't see Malaya and Cindy and Cheryl and Angeline and stuff coming out and speaking as openly as I do. And I wish somebody would.
did
They're
you?
not they're not doing it for me. They're doing it for Lily and Jack. They're not doing it for themselves. So what if you get attacked? Like, we all get attacked either way. Like, you might as well, spread the awareness for an extra pair of ears to hear it. But mom feels this need to try to help just like I do, right? And it's and I take that back too with it hasn't just been me and Belinda raising awareness. It's been mom too. And I should include mom in that because mom went on national television. She went on CBC National,
Did.
and she did that long form interview. And I know it was sliced down so much that you never got a full grasp of all the emotions mom went through, like from, being frustrated. And, she
Right.
started out that interview. She's just like, Daniel, how are you so comfortable when you do interviews? And I said, like, that's just the way it is. You have no control over the external world, like I said before. And you just have to, I don't get nervous for anything. I don't fear anything. That's just the way I am. I openly talk. And, for some people, it is hard to stand in front of a camera, but
Yeah.
you're not doing it
And
for
others,
yourself. And mom learned that just from talking. She felt more comfortable by the end of it. And, mom said a lot that will never be aired,
that's
unfortunately.
correct.
Two
Well,
and a half, 2.5 hours.
well, I mean, she can congratulate herself though that it was probably about 8 minutes and a couple seconds more than what
Yeah.
Darren got.
Yeah.
Right.
Darren's they couldn't verify any of the facts that Darren
Yeah,
was saying.
I
And
know.
they didn't feel comfortable putting that out.
No, but they did feel comfortable putting out the fact that he's saying that the RCMP are clowns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They kind of did him dirty with that one,
They,
didn't
you
they?
know what? They absolutely did do him dirty on that one. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
it was
uh,
comical because I
yeah,
mean, like you said, you spend hours, talking.
yeah,
But the thing is that type of news reporting that's meant for more of the true crime stuff.
yeah. I wonder if we actually got the full recording of that, what it would actually, depict in the
Yeah.
interview. But we can
Well,
only speculate on what he said, right? Because imagine Darren, freely talking for, hours on end. Imagine like the content that would be for some individuals on here.
Oh, fuck me, no, on there. But I was gonna say, but I know for a fact, this is fact. I know that Janie wakes up every day going, "Shit, I miss seeing Sunny."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No.
I always remember that.
She wondered where you went for the longest time. She's just like, did Sunny get shut down? And I was like, no, her videos are still up. The channel's still active.
My husband's like, okay, who got murdered today? Okay, because whenever he would come in the room, there's always some sort of true crime thing going on. But I kind of mix it up with like UK Idol or not UK Idol, but X Factor.
You mix it in with positive things where it's an uplifting thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like Just Nate is one of my favorite people to watch. He's it's kind of like how Mr. Beast is about trying to give back and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Just Nate is one of those ones that I love to watch him. He goes around his community, helps out the homeless, the people that have donated to the channel, like that's his life, is about doing good.
I love those channels as well, because you get to see like the change in people's lives. They go from not having anything to having something, or just that smile. The smile, it's a positive thing, and it makes you smile. And the world needs more of that. And I don't think a lot of that stuff is pushed up in the algorithm. You see a lot of negative stuff. And like when I go online, it's just all about, the war in Iran, and you see all these negative things. Yeah. It's good to see that stuff and keep up with world events, but it's forced. A lot of the negativity is forced by news organizations, because that gets them more views. The negativity, people are drawn to negativity. There's something in the mind where it's wired to be drawn to tragedy or disaster.
For sure.
That's
But it was always, I think, it's kind of like, again, when I watch 48 Hours, it's watching how they solve a case and the stuff.
Yeah, it's the thrill element that you enjoy with that. It's the thrill of,
yeah.
Because that's how the mind works. It's just drawn to negativity, but it's also drawn to thrill. I mean, that's just, because you get a dopamine spike from that, because it's a thrill. It's stimulating to the mind. I don't watch anything on true crime at all. The closest thing I watch on true crime is, well, actually, I don't watch anything on true crime. Being on these lives, that's the closest thing to true crime for me.
Daniel, I don't know how much more, besides bringing awareness to Jack and Lily's case, I honestly don't know how much more you could possibly add to this timeline in a sense anymore, because we pretty much, between all the records and you talking and different things, can only go as far as we can, right? So it's kind of like,
we're missing 33% of the people on the property, right? Malaya's never spoken out, so we're missing 33% of the information that we could have.
Just would never want to.
And this is my life. I live this case every day, right? And I see that comment up on the screen. It says, "Stop giving advice, Daniel. You're an idiot." And it's like, I never asked anybody to ever accept my advice, and you could take everything I say with a grain of salt. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care about the judgment. I'm here to spread awareness for Lily and Jack, because I know that the only people that will be me, my mother, and Belinda.
Yeah.
And I know me and Belinda don't see eye to eye on many things. And I said before, like, I support her guardianship. And, that's not to get back at Malaya. That's how I feel. So
just quickly on that one, because obviously I'm noticing a huge difference on you complimenting Belinda a lot recently, right? Whereas never before did you really sit there and give,
But I never openly attack Belinda. It's just that we don't see eye to eye, so there was no point in having conversations, because the same conversations I would have with her, I would have with you, and I would have with, the public as well. It's like, I don't know anything on the disappearance. So I can't give any information that I wouldn't give to you or give to the public.
So I'm just saying hypothetically, okay, on this one. The thing is that at the end of the day, is that going to, if I sat there and said, Daniel, I know you're lying to me, tell me the truth type of idea. Like I said, I mean, honestly, do you think Daniel's going to be like, well, Sonny, you're right. You know what? It was a rough night.
Yeah, I get messages all like that all the time. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Stop lying. And
meaning, if it's your truth, then again, it's
like I know I'm innocent, and I know my mother's innocent, but that's all I have to go on, because my mother's the same way I am. She's trying to pour her heart out, and we're trying to do the best we can to bring awareness. But it's just like every time we talk, it's just, Daniel, you're lying. Daniel, Daniel, you're an awful person. Daniel, you're evil. Daniel, you're a monster. And, I get messages like that all the time.
Probably some of the nicer words, eh?
Yeah, there's been, I report a lot of messages just because, it's crazy how sick people's minds go. And I don't even know if they follow the case. They just talk because they can.
I'm just saying this hypothetical, to Debbie, or anybody else. What more information do you honestly believe that you're going to get out of Daniel that really Daniel hasn't said?
Or the investigators hasn't questioned me on.
Because
I've been questioned many times. I've sat in. It almost feels normal for me. It's a sad thing to say, but it feels normal for me to be questioned at this point, and I take it as a normal aspect of who I am.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to sit on a live if I said, Daniel, okay, you piece of shit. You know what? Just tell me exactly, shut the fuck up. And I'll be like, Mike there, just shut the fuck up. Let me talk. But do you know what I mean? Like, but in all fairness, like, who's going to get anywhere? So you can, people.
Yeah, you're gonna create a defensive barrier, or they're going to have their guard up, and you're never going to get them to open up the way they should open up. But I've always been open. As time goes on, I don't really know how much more open I can be at this point, because I'm desensitized to judgment completely. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care when, I'm,
that's a good quality,
out in the public, and, people see me. A lot of people, I get the aspect of their perspective that they're scared of me in some kind of way. And I'm not a scary person. But people still think that, and that was one of the big things. I'll touch back on this with shenanigans. She's like, "Oh, I need Bradley as a bodyguard when I go to Lansdowne." It's just like, there's no one here that's going to hurt you or, or cause you any harm. I'm not like that, and I hope that the true crime community feels that. And because come tomorrow, that I'm going to be bashed for everything I said tonight, and you're going to be bashed, and Anita's going to have something to say.
Legit don't care.
But yeah, I don't care either. That's just that's just the way it is. And I've come to grips with that this is my life, and I'm still going to continue to live it the best I can. But the thing is, Sonny, I'm always open to talking about any consistencies that may have popped up, right? I'm always willing to be questioned on that. Yeah. And I will do my best to recall anything that comes up, right? Any question I have, I'll do my best to answer it. And if I can't answer it, I'm going to say that I can't recall it. I'm not going to make anything up to please the public, or make anything up to please you or any YouTubers or anyone in general. It's, I'm doing the best I can to recall everything from over a year ago.
Yeah.
Every day that passes, it doesn't get easier at this point. It got easier as the months went on, because I tried to recall everything as my stress levels decreased. And, I talked to investigators more and more and more. And I tried to recall everything I could. But after time goes on, it's your brain has a way of deleting things that it doesn't need, right? It can't store everything. I wish it could, but every time when you go to sleep, your brain wipes every memory that it doesn't see as being useful, because
You know,
the human brain can't recall everything.
I was
It
gonna
just
say,
it doesn't work like that. I wish I wish it did, and I wish it would.
mind you, by kind of joking, but not. But in the documents, you couldn't remember freaking your Wednesday from your Thursday. I remember.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Like
Sonny, I
things.
want to I do want to say one thing. I want to thank you for um, giving me the opportunity to come on and speak for this amount of time, because most people don't um, do lives this long, and most
Oh,
people don't have questions that are already ready to go. Like Charmaine's very good at that as well. Like, and yeah, I think you guys run, you know, um, a pretty tight, podcast or lives, right? You already had questions ready to go, and when you don't have questions ready to go, you either think of some or you turn to your comment section.
when I do lives, and just like when people come on the live, I don't want to like overly talk to somebody before they come on the live. I want to hear it as the audience is hearing it myself. So I'm one of those ones that I don't need to be prepared in order to do a
And
live,
that's exactly what I gave you, because
you know.
I literally just came into the live stream and said, you know, I'll go up and talk.
The only people that are really going to give us the truest answers is when RCMP comes to us with what happened to Jack and Lily, you
Yeah.
know, type of
And
thing.
until that day comes, what I'll always do is hold out hope. I'll never lose hope for a second. And I've been saying that since the start.
Hmm.
If I'll always think positive, because if you think the negative, especially with a case like this, it just doesn't sit right with me to do that.
Are you working right now still or no?
I have my fingers. I go back to work soon. It's just that I have to.
Okay, so
Um,
you're still
I
okay.
have to. I had to stay off for a month because my tendons, they're sliced in my middle finger, and then I have to keep this stint on my middle finger for 8 weeks. I can't let my middle finger go bent at all, because then the scar tissue will connect to the bone correctly, and then my finger will be permanently bent. So right now they're just trying to salvage it to keep it straight. I may be not ever able to bend my middle finger at the very end, but at least it will be straight.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, um, sucks. But you really are a cat with like 9 lives. Like
Yeah,
different
yeah,
things. I
I
mean,
know, and I've
ha-
had so many
have you been
traumatic.
accident prone, like in general?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
you
I've
been
been
accident
fairly
prone?
accident prone, but I've
Yeah.
always found a way to live through every struggle that the world has ever thrown at me. And sometimes I think to myself, you know, God's making me struggle for a reason, and to become the best version of myself, maybe I have to go through some of the most terrible things in life that I never wanted to go through. And my loved ones had to go through terrible things as well. And just
Yeah.
for me to, you know, um, get the most out of life and become the best person I can.
Well,
And a lot of people are going to say, like, Daniel's just saying that shit, but I mean, that's like, I have like
pod.
this weird feeling that that I was supposed to struggle, because that's what most of my life has been, is just struggle, and I've always found a way to overcome my struggle, but then a larger struggle always makes its way into my life.
What's that saying that
And
God wouldn't put stuff on the plate that He didn't figure you could handle? Like
yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
yeah, and the very first person to ever say that to me was Jordan said that to me.
Yeah.
He said, God never
Puts on a yeah
gives a man more than what he can handle,
handle
or
type
gives
of
the
vibe. Yeah.
man more struggle than what he can handle. And eventually, even as where I am now in life, like, I have no fear of anything. I don't care what people think. I don't. I The only thing that bothers me is, or the only fear I have is not being there for my children. Like when I get to see them grow up, right? And that's my biggest thing, and that's why I push through all the struggles that I have and all the struggles that I will have in life.
Mhm.
And the last year has been serious struggle that
Well, I mean,
that's been unforeseen.
but anyways, you guys, Daniel, um, give your mother my love, of course.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be watching this, so she'll understand.
You wait and see the way Sunny looked at me when she said the apple doesn't fall far from.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mom doesn't forget. She has pretty good memory.
But would you consider Justin and your dad more similar in their?
Yeah, yeah, we could say that, but I mean, we're all stubborn in some kind of way.
Oh,
That's that's just the way it is, and
Yeah.
that's maybe it comes from the way, product of our environment or the way we grew up, but
Well,
we
that's just
don't take shit from anyone, and that's you know and that's why you seen me at the start fight back so hard, because I'm innocent, but I don't take criticism well, especially when you haven't done anything, and then people are
yeah.
calling you the worst names in the book, and you want to defend yourself, but you just don't know how, because the internet is such a
Well, it's a
place of,
vacuum,
yeah, and
you know.
I don't have any role models in my situation. I don't have anyone to help me get through these tough times, and I have to do it on my own. I mean, I have mom, I have my brother, I have you know
You got a lot of fucking family in that small little area, mister.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my family grew up here,
Yeah.
and where my uncle lives, that's the family home.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Like, so that's the family home, meaning like that's where your dad lived originally?
that's where my mother. That's the
Oh,
family
okay.
house of my mother,
Oh, okay,
and
right. That's
that's
your
where
mother's.
they
Sorry.
grew up.
That's your mother's
Yeah,
house.
I have an extremely large family.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're all kind of within that little block area.
Yeah,
Well, I should say, yeah, you don't know that at the start, but then as time comes on, it's like, oh, here's a Mackenzie, here's a Martell, you know.
yeah. So
And but that's
that's just,
because we end up knowing more
yeah.
about your side than more so about Malaya's side and
Yeah,
stuff like
because
that.
I mean, I understand that, they don't want to speak out, but it's just something that you have to do. It doesn't, it doesn't, like, your feelings don't matter. It's
Uh,
it's for Jack and Lily. Put your feelings aside. Put how people are going to perceive you aside.
because again, looking at their beautiful little faces, um, and then one minute they're there, next minute they're not. And it's hard to look at children and you're just like, you
Yeah,
know,
it's even more tough when you wake up every day and they're there, right? And
yeah,
then one day they're not, and then my kids are always here, and then one minute they're not,
they're not. Yeah.
and then you're sitting in a room where you have to be supervised with your own child, even though you already raised children, because I have so many allegations against me.
Oh, anyways, Daniel, um, thank you very much. Simple as that. Appreciate that. Again, you guys, obviously Daniel came out. Jack and Lily's anniversary was on Charmaine's, was on it a couple times there. And I guess it will just be a little bit fun tomorrow to see who dissects what from all this.
Yeah,
Someone gonna call Sunny just a two, like a did
yeah.
or what?
Well, there's people that say I talk to Charmaine every day, and
Yeah.
there's very few people I talk to every day.
Wait, do you actually know how to leave, or do you need me to boot you?
No, yeah, you just boot me.
Oh,
I'm used to getting kicked out. This doesn't change anything.
well, sometimes people just like, well, how do I leave? But I think you know how to click off or whatever
Yeah, I'll click
and
off.
stuff like that. But I'll let you kick your own self out then.